Hello and welcome to Farkham. My name's Lucy and in episode 3 I'm off to Model Rail, Scotland. I arrived at my hotel early evening, unpacked and settled in. I had planned to eat in the restaurant, but the wait on food was ridiculous. There's a pub over the road, but, well, it's over the road and it's raining. I decided to have a night in. A silent disco, maybe. No, I just watched YouTube, then crashed. Morning arrived and I had my luxury breakfast before heading to the show. The layouts I'll show you are the layouts that for me are the standout layouts from the show. Obviously that's my personal preference and it's not always possible to film every layout. The layouts featured will be mostly D&D era. Mailing Park represents a line somewhere in Kent which links London to the Channel coast in the period before privatisation. The station supports a regular commuter service and the line carries a healthy flow of freight traffic. The yard on the outskirts of the town is like the station, a shadow of its former self. In the 1970s it was reduced in size and remodelled by British Rail, with the bulk of the land being sold off for commercial development. The layout attempts to portray an image of trains running through the countryside and uses standard Pico Code 75 track with sleeper spacing adjusted from HO to 00. The layout is controlled by DCC, but the points are controlled via conventional analogue panel. The majority of buildings and structures on the layout are scratch built, or as is the case for the station footbridge, a significantly modified kit. The station building is loosely based on that of Sandwich, and the general layout of the roadways and the level crossing at the end of the station platforms is another feature common to the area. Towcester is a small town in South Northamptonshire which dates back to Roman times. The year is 1977 and Towcester still has a railway presence, although on a reduced scale. Though the line on Blisworth on the West Coast Main Line through to Banbury has been retained as a north-south line, the old SMJ line to Stratford has indeed closed, though the derelict track is still in situ to sidings. The remaining lines carried passenger services between Northampton, Banbury and Oxford, although the intermediate stations have long closed. These are in the hands of Class 101, 105 and 108 DMUs. Freight traffic includes coal, cement, petroleum and Speedlink traffic between the North East and Eastleigh. And there is also parcel services from the South East to the Midlands and the North East. There is also local freight in the form of steel diverted into Towcester Yard to an engineering works in the yard itself, as well as the occasional fertiliser and animal feed traffic for a local agricultural merchant. Locomotives to be seen include Class 20, 25, 33, 40, 45 and 47 and a good old BR Bangor Blue. I'd just like to thank this week's supporters, Carl Hazeldine and Roland Crisp. Thank you very much for your support. And if you'd like to get a mention next time, the link is in the description. Clement Garden is not based on an actual railway location and is freestyle set in the west of Scotland. Passengers will be served mainly by DMUs of varying livery. The junction provides an interface with longer haul traffic and a goods link which serves both local industry and through traffic to larger towns beyond the layout. As a result, some longer diverted freight units may be seen transiting the layout. Part of the regeneration of the area involved the building of a road distribution depot, which, with some foresight, has been provided with a rail link. The traditional employment in the area relied on the Glen Adam distillery on the right of the layout, which was formerly served by rail, but now relies totally on the nearby distribution depot to get the amber nectar to the masses. Dalnotter, I hope I pronounced that right, is located on the north bank of the River Clyde. There were 2 railways through this area linking Glasgow and Dumbarton. The layout is set within the summer of 1979, and the line saw the regular use of short-formed passenger trains and DMU services between Glasgow and Dumbarton, along with a multitude of mixed-rake freight trains serving the various industries on the line. The fuelling point was often used to fuel and service locomotives using the nearby Shell Oil terminal, but the fuelling point was primarily used to fuel and service many of the locomotives using the nearby stabling point. Even Eastfield Depot would send locomotives to be serviced prior to their working. Carron Grove is an N-gauge layout with 2 main running tracks with loops at the station. There is also a small loco depot and fuelling point at one end of the layout and a container depot at the other. It's early summer 2011 at Britain's most northerly railway intersection, Georgemas Junction. The nuclear facility at Dounreay on the northern coastline is about to start decommissioning, and as such, Georgemas Junction will soon look very different. Waste and hazardous items will be transported by road to Georgemas, then switched to rail before continuing to the BNFL facilities at Drigg and Sellafield in Cumbria. Eli Wood is a modern image N-gauge model depicting an electrified main line, a branch line and a turnback siding, and was built for watching trains. The layout is based on an imaginary location somewhere in England. The rolling stock is a mixture of ready-to-run and kit-built items arranged into trains that may have been seen in the period of the year 2000 to the present day. Largo Ward is a small village in Fife on the east coast of Scotland. The railway was a goods-only line carrying agricultural produce. This layout is an accurate replica of the real location, but to add operational interest, the layout builders have used some modeller's licence. What if the line stayed open longer into the 70s? And what if the coal industry developed in the north east of Fife? The summit is a layout loosely based on the summit of the Settle and Carlisle Railway. Trains can be seen from several regions, mainly BR Midland and Eastern and the preceding LMS and LNER companies. Set in the late 70s and early 80s, Lockdown Lane was built during the COVID lockdown. It was built as an O-gauge layout that was small enough to use at home. The layout recreates a fuelling and stabling point. I really enjoyed going to Model Rail Scotland, and I will definitely be going again next year. So for now, thanks for watching and see you next time.